Well, Mr. Cricket, what do you think of this initial draft of the Declaration of Independence, sir?
Simply brilliant.
Why, thank you for the kind words, sir. If I might ask, what do you find that is so brilliant?
Well, my ancient history might be a little rusty, but I believe it was Aristotle who first created the caste system that man has followed for centuries by saying, from the hour of their birth, some men are marked for subjection, others for rule. You, sir, have undone centuries old thought of man's place in the world with the simply brilliant words of all men are created equal.
I'm glad you see it my way, sir. My only hope is that the Continental Congress see it the same way, too.
Thomas Jefferson's life was made possible by slavery. Early on, he had a more enlightenment-driven view of the institution. He made a natural law argument in a court case as a lawyer, meaning that all men are created equal. All men are born free. That phrase appears in an early legal brief. Thomas Jefferson fundamentally was a politician. He was someone who put together coalitions in the moment to solve problems provisionally, because that's what politics is about.
A pragmatist.
He was a total pragmatist. We often think of him as a man of ideas, as a man of, and that's how, believe me, that's how he wanted us to talk about him. He wanted us, as we know from his tombstone, to think of him as the author of the Declaration of Independence, the author of the Virginia Statute for Religious Liberty, and the founder of the University of Virginia. That's wonderful. Those are important things. From 1769 until 1809, for 40 years, he was more or less constantly in public office or thinking about public office. And the political Jefferson is, I think, essential to understanding his views on slavery, which were ideal in a way. He had a vision of emancipation, of repatriation. He thought that slavery was a moral wrong, but as a politician, that was as an idealist, as a politician, he could not see how he could possibly pass that, make that happen in the America of the 18th and early 19th centuries. His view was that at best, there could be an emancipation, but then there would be repatriation, there would be colonization. African American slaves would leave the United States. He did not foresee a biracial, integrated society. One of the many ironies of his life, because he created a biracial society at Monticello.
Sally Hennings grew up as a servant to Thomas Jefferson's daughter on his Monticello estate in Virginia, where he created what we now see in modern America, a racial melting pot. Relatively speaking, slaves lived a privileged life on Monticello compared to that of most of their peers. He trained his slaves in carpentry, textiles, cooking, farming, and would oftentimes pay his workers. Ironically, he feared the society in which he helped to create. History has shown that Sally gave birth to at least 4 children fathered by Jefferson. Coincidentally or not, she was the half-sister of Martha Wales Jefferson, the deceased wife of Thomas Jefferson. It's been speculated that the facial similarities could be what attracted Jefferson to Hennings. The family tree here shows Sally's father, who was also the father of Martha Wales Jefferson, and Sally's maternal grandfather, who was the father of John Wales, making Sally only a quarter African American. This racial blending is the direction our country is now headed towards, where more than half of children born today are ethnic minorities.
He was on a subcommittee, greatest subcommittee ever, by the way. Benjamin Franklin, Thomas Jefferson, John Adams. They could solve anything.
This is something altogether unexpected. Not only a declaration of our independence, but of the rights of all men. No, this is well said, sir. Very, very well said. The Christian king of Great Britain has waged cruel war against human nature itself in the persons of a distant people who never offended him, captivating and carrying them into slavery in another hemisphere.
Yes, you lay the evils of slavery at the feet of the king, but you say nothing of slavery itself, sir. Now, surely, if the trade is outlawed but ownership is not, then those unfortunate Negroes still in servitude will become a more lucrative commodity.
Well, that's not what I intended, Dr. Franklin. Slavery is an abomination and must be loudly proclaimed as such, but I own that neither I nor any man has any immediate solution to the problem.
In 1963, under orders by City Commissioner Eugene Bull Connor, Birmingham, Alabama City Police used fire hoses and police dogs against children and adults engaged in nonviolent protests against segregation. The demonstrations were part of Martin Luther King Jr.'s Birmingham campaign. Television news coverage of the attacks by police sparked mass nationwide protests.
Are you prepared to take the oath, Senator?
I am.
I, Barack Hussein Obama, do solemnly swear.
I, Barack Hussein Obama, do solemnly swear.
That I will execute the office of President to the United States faithfully.
That I will execute
the office of President of the United States.
The office of President of the United States faithfully.
And will, to the best of my ability.
And will, to the best of my ability.
Preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States.
Preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States.
So help you God.
So help me God.
Congratulations, Mr. President.
We, the people, declare today that the most evident of truths, that all of us are created equal, is the star that guides us still. Just as it guided our forebears through Seneca Falls and Selma and Stonewall, just as it guided all those men and women, sung and unsung, who left footprints along this great mall, to hear a preacher say that we cannot walk alone. To hear a king proclaim that our individual freedom is inextricably bound to the freedom of every soul on earth. It is now our generation's task to carry on what those pioneers began. For our journey is not complete until our wives, our mothers, and daughters can earn a living equal to their efforts. Our journey is not complete until our gay brothers and sisters are treated like anyone else under the law. For if we are truly created equal, then surely the love we commit to one another must be equal as well.